Bombshell allegations have emerged from the wild brawl that went down on what's called the Carnival Cruise from Hell. We'll tell you more about what went down that resulted in more than a dozen family members being booted off the cruise liner. There's more news coming out about the brand new ship from Disney Cruise Lines called the Disney Wish. We now know about their headliner shows, and Disney fans, I think, are going to be very excited. We have another story about a daring nighttime airlift to save an ailing passenger on board a cruise ship. All this coming up on Midships. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today, and I'd like to welcome you to my Chattanooga, Tennessee Midships studio. Now, we've got tons of cruise news to cover today, but first and foremost, I'd like to show you a photo that Royal Caribbean emailed to me, and I think you're gonna notice at least one or two of the people in this photo. So check it out. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but I had the pleasure of sitting down with Tony from La Lido Loca at Chops Grill just a few nights ago on board Odyssey of the Seas, and we honestly had a fantastic time just reminiscing about the YouTuber life. So I wanted to share that with you, and as a reminder, make sure you're subscribed over to Tony's channel at La Lido Loca. Go ahead and check down in my description box. I will leave a link to his channel. If you haven't seen his work before, I think you're truly gonna enjoy it. Now, we have a lot of cruise news to hop into, so no more time to waste. We're going to get started with a story coming out of Royal Caribbean about their restart plans for next month. From cruisehive.com by Robert McGilvery. 3 more Royal Caribbean cruise ships will restart in the month of December, with Royal Caribbean Group hoping to have the majority of their brand fully operational by early next year. It's time for Royal Caribbean to make some more inroads into stepping up its operational capacity. The cruise line will bring 3 more ships into operation next month in December, with a variety of cruises around the Caribbean and Bahamas from 3 different home ports: Bridgetown, Tampa, and Baltimore. Royal Caribbean will be giving guests even more choices when choosing a cruise. And the first of the 3 ships we're reporting on today is Grandeur of the Seas, who will be restarting from the island of Barbados starting on December 5th. And next up, we have Brilliance of the Seas, who will join Serenade of the Seas on December 16th from the port of Tampa. And finally, a fan favorite port for the Midships family, the port of Baltimore, will see Enchantment of the Seas beginning on December 23rd. You guys can never forget how much I love bringing you this restart news, so just in the past few days, we've reported on Navigator of the Seas, we've reported on at least one Norwegian, I think it was the Joy? Off the top of my head, we also have New Amsterdam. Rotterdam restarted in the last few days. What else? MSC Seashore has started on her inaugural season. So there's so much going on right now in cruise ship restarts, and we're going to keep bringing them to you as often as we can. Now let's go ahead and hop into today's thumbnail story about these bombshell allegations and this new lawsuit that's been filed about this wild brawl that went down on board a Carnival cruise ship in what was donned the cruise from hell. And this story is coming from the Daily Mail. Unfortunately, it was the best source that I could find for this. I know people are going to love or hate it, but let's go ahead and pop right into the story here. This is by Aidan Wonderkraz. Bombshell allegations have emerged about a wild brawl on board the cruise from hell that saw more than a dozen family members booted off a luxury cruise ship as court hearings are sparked. The article says, a cruise ship brawl that ended with more than a dozen family members kicked off the ship was sparked after one of them stepped on a passenger's shoe, according to documents filed in court. The Zakor family and some of their friends were escorted off the Carnival Legend after it was forced to stop at port in Eden, New South Wales on February 16, 2018. Shocking footage captured a group of passengers engaged in a bloody fist fight before security were forced to intervene and detain the family as the ship was forced to dock. 3 members of the Zakor family are now suing the cruise company PCL, claiming security violently assaulted them before falsely imprisoning them on board. Yeah, this story, their claims are a little bit wild here in my opinion, and you'll learn a little bit more as the story goes on. We have some photos here of the Zakor family coming off of the cruise ship. You can see some of them have their heads bandaged. We have some photos here coming out from the brawl that happened. Moving on, Carnival PCL has filed for defense at the county court, drawing up a list of allegations against the Zakor family. They allege members hurled racist abuse at Carnival security, lashed out at staff when their supply to booze was cut off by the cruise line, and sparked a brawl with other passengers on board the ship, according to reporting from the Herald Sun. PCL alleges son of Zaki Zakor, 52, stepped on a passenger's shoes 2 days before the brawl broke out. Mr. Zakor then became engaged in heated arguments with the passenger before assaulting them the following day. PCL alleges Mr. Zakor grabbed the passenger by the throat while other family members threatened to kill him. Mr. Zakor said in his statement of claim that when security intervened, he was punched in the head and kicked while on the ground. Zakor alleges the chief of security yelled at him and said, "I'm going to blank kill you and your son." We have some additional photos of the Zakor family being escorted by police off of the Carnival Legend, and some of them are even hiding their heads in shame. PCL has defended the actions of security staff, saying that Mr. Zakor and his son were handcuffed before they were taken to separate rooms. Staff had been acting under the orders of the captain and employed a reasonable use of force to ensure the safety of its own passengers, claims PCL. The cruise line company claims the Zakor family and their friends were involved in several incidents while on the cruise ship. They allegedly took out their anger at crew when their booze privileges were revoked by the cruise line, and they began shoving a bouncer after they were refused entry into the ship's nightclub. PCL claims members threatened passengers near a pizzeria and choked out a security guard and told staff to be ready for a wrestle. The matter goes to trial next year. So don't forget that these cruise ships have cameras absolutely every year, so I'm not surprised that Carnival Cruise Line is going to see this out through the court of law. And honestly, something like this typically will get settled. Somebody like the Zakor family may take a nice settlement out of this, but it sounds like Carnival's willing to fight this out because they think they are in the right in this one. So it's going to be interesting to see what shakes out from this brawl on board the Carnival Legend. And speaking of new ships, Disney has one on the horizon, and just today they released new information about some of the onboard entertainment on board the new Disney Wish. From cruiseradio.net by Sarah Bretz, Disney Wish will have 2 new shows and a revamped pirate night. Disney Cruise Line has announced 2 brand new theatrical productions coming to its newest vessel, the Disney Wish. And the first of those is Disney, The Little Mermaid. Disney's The Little Mermaid will be an original Broadway-style stage show adapted from the 1989 Disney animation film developed exclusively for the Disney Wish. During the unique production, audiences will rediscover the iconic scenes, acclaimed music, and beloved characters of The Little Mermaid while experiencing the story like they never have before. In this modern-day retelling, the curtain will rise on an enchanted treasure chest. At the moment, it's discovered by a group of storytellers, led by a special young lady who has the power to unlock its magic. And in case you're wondering, yes, the song Under the Sea will of course be featured within this theatrical production. And the other production coming to the Disney Wish is entitled DisneySeize the Adventure. On the first night of the cruise, Disney Wish guests will embark on a musical voyage into some of their favorite stories during the original musical spectacular DisneySeize the Adventure. Captain Minnie will hand over the helm to her dear friend Goofy, and he'll set sail into uncharted waters on a journey to discover his own inner captain. Along the way, Goofy will encounter Disney and Pixar friends who encourage him to lead with his heart through renditions of iconic Disney songs. And if you're curious about any specific songs or anything else about the new Pirate Rockin' Party aboard Disney, this article, like all the articles quoted in today's episode, are linked down in the description below. While you're down there, right at the top of that description box, there are some awesome Amazon affiliate links to some very highly rated cruise swag, things that I use on every single cruise that I take. For instance, I have my favorite passport holder with COVID card insert. It's available in like 5 or 7 different colors, and even if you just click the link and don't buy anything, you are supporting the channel just a little bit. I know some of you out there in the Midships family love an ultra luxury cruise ship, and guess what? You have a brand new choice, and she's finally arrived in the US for the first time. From cruisehive.com by Robert McGilvery, ultra luxury cruise ship the Seabourn Ovation has arrived in the US. After crossing the Atlantic Ocean, Seabourn's newest vessel, Ovation, arrived in her new home port of Miami, Florida. The ultra-luxury vessel, which accommodates just 604 guests, will now be sailing various cruises in the region, including to the Caribbean, the Panama Canal, and Central America. So I've never been lucky enough to hop on board a Seabourn cruise, but for those of you that have, I would love to hear about your experience down in the comment section below. So imagine you find yourself on your ultimate cruise vacation and suddenly you fall ill, so ill that you have to be airlifted from the cruise ship in the middle of the night. Well, that happened off the coast of North Carolina, and there's a video of the whole rescue. I'd like to read to you a news story about it from CBS17.com by Rodney Overton. Ailing woman airlifted from cruise ship off North Carolina coast during daring nighttime flight. From Wilmington, North Carolina, a woman suffering from internal bleeding was airlifted by the U.S. Coast Guard from a cruise ship more than 200 miles off the coast of North Carolina on Friday night. And you can see here right now the basket is actually going up into the helicopter here. So somebody caught some fantastic footage of this, especially for it being at nighttime. This is something that you don't often see during these rescues. You might get a dark or a grainy photo or two from some of the passengers on board, but this looks like a very legitimate video source here. So I'm going to continue in the article. Officials aboard the Royal Caribbean Anthem of the Seas contacted the Coast Guard to ask for a medical evacuation from the ship, according to a news release from the U.S. Coast Guard. An ailing woman needed care at a hospital immediately, said officials. An MH-60 Jayhawk helicopter, as well as an HC-130 Hercules plane, flew about 230 miles to the cruise ship from the Coast Guard Air Station in Elizabeth City. And if you'd like to watch this video in its entirety, of course, it's going to be linked in the description below this video. The rescue helicopter crew hoisted the woman and a family member aboard, while the Hercules crew provided aerial coverage, the news release says. The helicopter then flew to New Hanover Regional Hospital in Wilmington, North Carolina. So maybe a couple stories like that might inspire a few of you to look into insurance for your next cruise. Now, this is not a recommendation. I'll just tell you who I've used for my past few cruises. The pricing was absolutely fantastic. I've never made any claims, so I can't speak to that, but I've used a company called Tin Leg on my last 3 cruises. It's about $15 for the policy. I mean, honestly, it's super affordable, and it covers you if you come down with COVID right before your pre-cruise embarkation testing. If you made it this far into today's episode, why haven't you subscribed to the channel? While you're down there, do me the biggest favor you can and smash that like button if you absolutely love cruising. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships.